What's up, everybody? We're back up at ya inside of the OZone. I am Omar Miller, your host, and this is my brother Terry Miller.
Hello, everybody. Hello, world.
See that? He's not always monotone.
Yeah.
Let's just spark it up and see how fired up he can get, because I know there's a topic that gets the icons turned up quick.
He's after me.
He's after me right now. I'm after you because I'm going to shoot 50 shots on your head and I'm going to make everybody go crazy.
That gets me turned, as they say nowadays.
There it is. So let's speak on it. The mighty, mighty Kobe Bryant has retired, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank goodness.
He's thrown up his last jumper in the Staples Center. And
I was so happy.
How did you feel about that going away performance? 60 points on 50 shots. How do you feel? Tell me about it at Icons.
I could get 60 points off of 50 shots if no one plays defense and they proclaim it my day, my night, everything. Hey, let Terry go to the rack. Ooh, hey, shoot a jumper. 50 times, dude? Come on, it's too far. It's too far. I know that people pay big bucks for it, $20,000, $30,000 seats, but are you kidding me?
60 points.
A free-for-all, and then it should have an asterisk next to it.
That says what?
I shot too many times. Everybody, shoot. Come on, man. That's not real basketball. That hurts the league.
Doesn't hurt the league when you're on your way out.
Well, yeah.
Doesn't hurt the league when they're selling $30,000 seats on the floor. That doesn't hurt the league.
Well, yeah, and the kids in the future won't even know what happened. They'll just look at the stats and say, wow, that dude scored 60 points on his way out.
And therein lies how it hurts the game at large. Yeah. And you know what? I think
disgusting.
I think that what we've seen this past season of Kobe Bryant farewell tour celebration
is going to cost Byron Scott his job.
Definitely Byron Scott's getting fired. And if he doesn't, the buses are going crazy. But I think that, to my experience and to my observation, we've watched the greatest basketball organization be reduced to a show, a circus of individualism.
To rubble. To Barney Rubble.
And Bam Bam's on the way. But you know what I think? I don't know. I mean, people didn't seem to mind. I understand the farewell tour. I understand he's a legend. I get it. He's a stud. He's a winner. Third most scoringest player of all time. But I wonder what was sacrificed over these past 2.5 or 3 years, really, because you could argue that he should have retired 2 years ago.
Right.
And I wonder what this is going to cost the Lakers. I wonder what this is going to cost in the large scale. Obviously, financially, it wasn't a problem because they stayed sold out, whether he was only playing 8 minutes or whether he put in, like he did his last couple games. He scored 35 the night before this, a couple nights before. I don't remember who that was against, but he scored 35. And now he put up the 60. It just, to me, it goes to speak on how in America, everybody loves a winner. That's true. I tell you, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter. This is what I've learned. It doesn't matter the cost. It doesn't matter what you do. If you can win, and if you can give the illusion of winning or the illusion that you were the key reason for the win, I'm not saying that Kobe is giving any illusions.
Right.
I'm just saying in general, you can do just about anything in the United States.
So is that capitalism at its finest?
I don't know if it's capitalism. I mean, capitalism has to play in that ideology. I can't tell you how my phone lit up with people say, "Ed, did you see this?" And yeah, it was moving at times because there was times that he gave you vintage Kobe. He gave you vintage Mamba. Like,
he was moving in slow motion.
I'm not going to just bash him like you're bashing him, because there was times he hit jumpers. You are going hard. He hit jumpers in the corner on the fadeaway threes. He did all kind of stuff that, was impressive. There was a lot of Olays out there, folks. I watched the game. There was a lot of
dude probably should have had 22 points.
I can't give an exact number.
I'm going 22.
I don't know where you come up with your equation is.
Free throws, they take him to the line. I'm not just Mamba bashing, but it was too far.
You are Mamba bashing.
It was too far. Too far. Come on.
Ultimately, this is one time where I can say it was actually not too far because they won the game. Now, the problem that I have is that the Utah Jazz seem like they didn't care. Then this is a big problem I have in professional sports in general. The Jazz got eliminated from playoff contention a couple hours before the game, and that seemed to directly affect their effort for the game.
Yeah, well, how many times do you watch somebody like the Jordan effect where a guy just stand around and watch the show? So they were all caught up in the Kobe show. You watch a guy, this is his farewell tour. They just blew the Lakers out by almost 50 points.
Almost 50.
And now you're telling me that they come back and they were down again and the Mamba all of a sudden explodes. We can't hold him. We can't hold a 40-year-old man.
Can't hold him. Couldn't hold him. But this is the thing. I don't think you care if you're going on vacation either way it goes and you're wealthy and so on and so forth. I don't know how much it really matters. And it showed that it didn't really matter to the Utah Jazz because, I mean, these guys, some of the guys were playing hard for sure. But there was,
for a time.
Yeah, for a time.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of terrible defense being played on the Lakers side. It looked like a celebrity game.
Right.
It looked like an MTV All-Star game.
Right.
No, the celebrity E-League games, man,
intense.
Shout out to Shane Duffy. They're too intense. That's how I busted my knee up. You got a whole bunch of fools out there.
Going hard.
I don't like it. It's stiff, actually. It limits my mobility. I need a retirement tour. But this, but yeah, the thing is that the celebrities and everybody you play with at the park or whatever who don't really know how to play the sport always go too far and they take it too seriously. And next thing you know, somebody rolled an ankle. And usually that somebody is me. So then I crack someone's rib for that. But yeah, I mean, he retired. Let's listen to what Cobster had to say on the floor of the Staples in his last hurrah.
It's I can't believe how fast 20 years went by. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And to be standing here at center court with you guys, my teammates behind me, and appreciating all this, the journey that we've been on. We've been through our ups and been through our downs. And I think the most important part is that we all stayed together throughout. I grew up a diehard Laker fan. Diehard. I mean, I knew everything about every player that's ever played here. So to be drafted and then traded to this organization and to spend 20 years here, I mean, you can't write something better than this. And I'm more proud of the fact that not about the championships, but about the down years, because we didn't run. We didn't run. We played through all that stuff and we got our championships and we did it the right way.
All right, I just got to cut it halfway. I mean, it's unbelievable to me because the short memory of Los Angeles sports fans is mind-blowing.
It's blowing.
We didn't run. I can remember vividly a clip of Kobe Bryant on the radio talking about I need to get traded. I was seeing the other way, man. The kids, they don't want to play. We got to get rid of somebody. We got to get rid of Bynum. We got to get rid of me.
Right, and so he ran in a sense.
The commitment to the team definitely didn't seem like it was there then.
It wavered.
It wavered.
Like wavery chips.
but I don't know. Very interesting, though, because this is my point. Kobe is riding off into the sunset. Although the rest of the NBA is actually playing basketball in the playoffs, he's riding off into the sunset now. And it's just very interesting to me how winning erases pretty much everything. It's just an amazing concept. Just think about that. Think if you could apply that to your daily life. And you can in America. I guess that's the American dream.
Right.
It's like literally if you can win and uplift people because of that motivational feeling that comes from winning, you can literally make people forget selling them out and doing any whole number of things. I guess it's kind of what the Wall Street and the bankers are doing to the American public now a little bit.
I guess Shaq is promoting goodwill because he was there supporting.
And you know what? Shaq always promotes goodwill. Yeah. Shout out to the Diesel, one love. I mean, the dude, he was out there. I tell you what's interesting is that Shaq, I saw that quote where Shaq said, at the beginning of the game, I jokingly challenged him to put up 50 and the motherfucker put up 60. I mean, you gotta love Shaq and Kobe for that, to be honest, because that's incredible.
Yeah.
And one thing that I will give crazy love for the Mamba to is, his will to win was never in question. The guy always wanted to win, except for the time that he quit on the team in Phoenix. He always wanted to win, and he was always willing to do anything. Only problem
keeping a diesel.
Only problem I had there is that to me with Kobe Bryant, and I know everybody feels like I go too hard on him, but it always seemed more important to me for Kobe Bryant to win the game and for him to be the reason they won than it was for them to actually just win the game.
As a team.
Yes.
And that's my problem with him as well, because he's very selfish. And then he's teaching the kids that are coming up to be selfish, you know.
But it gets accoladed, feted and cloaked in this will to win desire, like all those awesome new commercials they came out with still hate me, I feed off the hate, blah, 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 you know, all of that stuff.
I just think that you would want to promote a kid to teach him how to be a team player more so than anything, you know?
Well, but at that level, you know, I don't think you're thinking about how am I going to promote the kids. I think that you're thinking.
But he has a responsibility as being one of the ultimate superstars of this era.
I think he does, but I would say more so than a lot of people, he definitely does. He was a goodwill ambassador. The game of basketball is in a better space because of Kobe Bryant than it would have been without him. I also think that there was maybe 6, 7 other guys in the league that came up with Kobe Bryant that could have accomplished what Kobe Bryant accomplished with that team and that organization if they were in that spot.
Right.
I mean, I think this is why I'm never cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs with him. But you know, I mean, you got Allen Iverson. You got Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter. You had Ray Allen. You had Stevie Franchise. You had Stephon Marbury, who, you know, before he started eating Vaseline, Stephon Marbury was completely unstoppable.
He was. More so than AI?
I mean, AI is one of my personal favorites, so I don't know about that. But we never got to see AI play with that team. You know what I mean? That I wish we could have seen him play with.
Which is even more awesome because he's only like 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And he went to the big dance.
But there was he didn't get him a ring, though.
Can't
do
going
it.
to go against the Diesel.
He went against the Kobe and the Diesel. Kobe. But I think, I don't know. I think that there's I don't know. I just think it's an interesting situation. I'm glad Kobe Bryant went out the way he did because he did go out gunning. He did go out, you know.
He's a gunslinger.
He went out his way, and you'll never say he was scared to shoot. And there's something to be said for that. One thing that I love about Kobe Bryant, I'm going to wrap up my Mamba talk on this so we can go Mamba out, is the moment was never too big for Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
I was never concerned, he's going to fold. There was never too much pressure. The moment
he shot it over the backboard.
Even if he shot over the back, I don't care. He's going to take the shot. I'll tell you that much. He wasn't scared. And there's a lot to be said for that because in the big moments, we see that a lot. We see guys
crumble,
just completely fold.
Yeah.
The moment's too big.
Yeah, like they just got dropped in the middle of a war zone.
That's it. Speaking of folding, you know, I'd like to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, 5-4 Clothing. You should look into joining the 5-4 Club. Let them fold you up $150 worth of clothes for only $60 a month. 5-4 Club. They'll keep you styled. So, want to move into another piece. We have a very interesting caller on the line. Ellie, what up?
Hey.
I'm good. How's it going? How's the production?
Oh, man, Sec back. We just played your intro. We get the Sec back. We get your Sec back. Uh-oh. That's a nice jingle, man. Who made that jam?
This rapper out of D.C., let's see, he just changed his name.
Ooh.
His name now is Mo, M-O-E. But he used to be Young Fresh.
Young
very
Fresh.
Talented. Mm-hmm. His grandfather was the president of Pakistan.
Really?
Wow.
No, see that? I'm glad I asked. That's interesting. Right? That's a fun fact there. And if that's the case, my nickname as a rapper would just be Prayers. That's what it would be.
It.
Ellie, talk to me, man. Very excited to have you on board. Tell the people where they can find you on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram.
Very easy. Just go to Google, type in ES News, one word, ES News, and everything will come up.
There it is.
Nice.
Now, for those who don't know, Ellie Seckbach is my personal favorite boxing interviewer, promoter, journalist. He has all of the insight. I met him out and about on the red carpets when he realized that I actually was very interested in sports and as a sports aficionado. And Ellie is one of the reasons that we're here. You guys are listening to us because he encouraged me to get my voice out there. He always wants to know my perspective on things. And right now, me and my brother at Icons are here on the line for you to hear your perspective. Tell me what you thought about that Pacquiao Tim Bradley fight last weekend.
Well, first of all, thanks so much for the introduction. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. And yes, you do have great views on sports, very original, and I'm happy you're doing this podcast. Watching Pacquiao, it made me think of Shakur the voice of the Lakers. Because when Chick got a little older, people would complain that he's confusing Eddie Jones with Kobe and things.
I remember that.
And the answer was, Chick may have lost a step or two, but he's still 10 steps ahead of everyone else.
Wow.
So when I'm watching Manny Pacquiao, who fought Tim Bradley, he lost a step or two. He was a little slower. He wasn't as explosive, but he's still 10 steps ahead of 99% of the fighters. So
right.
Bradley's no pushover. Bradley's a great fighter, and Manny Pacquiao made it look easy. He dropped him twice, and that's not easy to do.
That's not easy. And Tim Bradley has crazy heart. His number one attribute, in my opinion, is his heart. And he stayed in there and he fought with him, but you could see, just like you said, Manny was just a little ahead of him at every turn.
Anticipation-wise and everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, the question is, Manny said retirement 50-50. I don't buy it, personally. I think Manny comes back 2, 3, 4 more fights. It all depends also on the election. If he wins the election, if he doesn't win the election, he's coming back in 3 months or 4 months. If he wins the election, maybe in 6 months. But
wow,
Bradley
so you think we could have a sitting president actually step into the ring?
Wow.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if President Obama fought Vladimir Putin? You know how that would be the craziest pay-per-view numbers ever.
And could the Secret Service even stand to watch it?
They couldn't even watch. They'd have to jump in. They'd turn into a Royal Rumble.
But before Pacquiao becomes president, he becomes he's trying to win a Senate seat.
Oh, he's running for Senate now. Oh, I thought he was running for president straight away. My bad.
That's the next step. But that would be crazy too, because that probably would happen. But there's only 24, if I'm not mistaken, 24 senators for the entire Philippines, which has like 97 million people.
Okay.
It's a very, very big position. And I don't know if he's going to win or not. He's very popular, but the people want him as their politician. Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see. But definitely a possibility. And next step is to run for president.
Okay. So then who would you see him fighting? Because for me, I think there's some interesting fights to be made out there. And I think with boxers, retirement is always questionable. Boxers never seem to be able to retire.
Right.
And it gives a deeper conversation that I'd like to ask your view on is, what do you think about the state of the union with boxing and with the boxers having no union? I heard Bernard Hopkins speaking on how absurd it is that boxers have no union. It's something I actually listened to Floyd Mayweather about that I actually finally agree with him about. Boxers need a union. There needs to be something that takes care of these champions after they're champions so that they don't have to continue to fight and get their heads bashed in a la a Roy Jones and this, that, and the other, who I don't even think is doing it for the money. He just likes to fight. But there needs to be some system in place. What do you think about that?
I'm still in shock that you agree with Floyd on anything.
I definitely don't agree that the fight was a draw. That's whatever nonsense it was that he told you.
No, my instinct or what's the right word I'm looking for? My gut feeling is that was just a made-up article by an anonymous source. Because ESPN wrote this article, some guy who normally covers the Yankees. So everyone in Vegas, 10,000 fans, no one saw Mayweather stand by the media, no picture of him and Bradley. It just looked very strange to me because you would think, yeah, everybody saw Mayweather in the lobby, and I talked to him 20 minutes. I talked to him at 1:30 in the morning.
Right, I saw that. I saw your video.
Yeah, but he didn't tell me the fight was a draw. He said it was closer than the judges, and he would have said I met Tim Bradley or I met with him and he'll be back.
Yeah, what has he got to lie about?
Exactly. So I don't know, but Roy Jones Jr., you're absolutely right. He fights because he loves to fight. It's what he does. And he told me at this point of his life, if he has any damage, he already has it. So he doesn't care. Unions.
Oh, wow.
I remember covering the UFC when the UFC kind of was in its infant stages and bringing up the union issue, and everybody at the UFC had a heart attack. Because that means you have scales. That means you have, work hours. That means rates.
I don't know. It doesn't have to be a union like SAG or like the Teamsters.
Right.
I'm just talking about a pension like the Major League Baseball Players Union or the NFLPA. None of those guys, we're not talking about, those guys don't have work hours or something like that. It's not that kind of situation. But there's got to be something set up, in my opinion, where that being a boxer doesn't avail you to then being completely exposed and vulnerable after you get done with your immediate income, because there's no ancillary income that comes directly from boxing.
No, absolutely. And you're right about one thing. Every time a fighter announces a retirement, they never retire. Never. History has shown it. You name a fighter who announces retirement, he's back the year. Margarito came back. Brandon Rios announced his retirement after Bradley. He's coming back now. Mayweather announced his retirement. He returned. Holyfield announced his retirement numerous times. He's come
Sugar
back.
Ray, Muhammad Ali.
Only Rocky Marciano, right?
Yeah, Rocky Marciano's the only one that walked away.
If I'm not mistaken, where the Brown Bomber too, he was already
he
done.
had to come back.
Yeah, he had to.
Exactly.
And realistically, he probably would have went down as the greatest fighter of all time if he would have just retired.
Yeah.
And if World War II never broke out.
Exactly. And I feel the same about Roy Jones Jr. If he retired at his prime, at his peak, no one would have ever argued.
Well, realistically, if Roy never leaves that middleweight division,
But he had to.
He
There's
did
nothing there.
Yeah, what could he do? But he was that far ahead of the competition. He totally dominated. Well, we got you on the line, back. We want to talk to you. I feel the same way about that Pacquiao fight, by the way. I was very impressed with Manny's ring savvy. And I thought that Bradley brought his A game. I hated to see this fight happen a third time, to be honest, because I actually am as a fan, I feel like Timothy Bradley is underrated. I think Bradley just happened to fight in an era that was dominated by Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, and he only got to fight one of those two guys, and that guy had his number. Maybe if he fought Floyd Mayweather, it would have been a little different. Maybe not. I don't know, but I just wish that he could get his seat at the table, if you will, because I would like to see Timothy Bradley fight Keith One-Time Thurman. I'd like to see him fight Sean Porter. I would like to see him. There's a lot of guys out there that I would like to see him fight that I think he actually could be successful over.
Realistically, if Manny Pacquiao fought a Adrian Broner, if he fought Amir Khan, if he fought a Sean Porter, if he fought a Keith Thurman, if he fought
Terrence Crawford,
any of those, this fight would have done tremendously well because it was new, it was exciting. Pacquiao Bradley were ready to sell 24 rounds, so this was round 25.
Yeah.
And the first two fights were okay. They weren't like epic, like fight of the year type style. Where
no,
like,
it was domination.
Wow.
Manny dominated him in all 25 rounds for the most part. I'd say Manny probably, of those 24 rounds, Manny probably lost 6, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But you're right about Bradley. He is a warrior. But $4 million, how do you turn that down? Manny got paid $7, much less than what he did against Mayweather, obviously. For Bradley, the first two fights he made 6 and 5. So he took a little pay cut, but still, nobody else could deliver that kind of money. Because if he fights anyone else, they're not going to pay him for it. So I understand the politics of it, but as a fan, I would like to see other people in the ring. I think, again, Amir Khan, Pacquiao, given their history, given all the talk,
yeah, that would have been nice.
They almost had the fight. It almost went down, but it didn't.
And now, speaking of which, what do you think about Amir Khan coming up against Canelo?
I like Amir and I like Canelo. They're both super cool individuals. Like they're really humble. They're great for the sport. They're real like gentlemen, like class act. It's a big challenge. If Amir wins, it's the shock of our era. He's the underdog.
Well, Icons feels like he can win. My brother feels like he can win. And truth be told, from what I've seen, I actually like his chances. The biggest problem that I have is that Amir Khan shows up from time to time with the glass jaw, and that's not going to work against Canelo. But what is going to work against Canelo is his superior hand and foot speed.
Right, and he gets up off the mat.
He does get up off the mat.
And speed is a problem for Canelo. He's a plotter.
Yep.
No, you guys are absolutely right on all those points. Very valid. Amir Khan is extremely... Look, I recorded him once and I said, Amir, can you throw 10 punches, 10 seconds of punches into the camera, and we'll time how many punches you throw. It was 146 punches in 15 seconds.
Are you kidding me?
No, but here's the funny part. When I slowed mode the video to 30% of the original speed, he was still faster than the majority of the fighters in their fastest.
Wow.
So his hands are... So even if he moves up in weight and loses...
Wow.
That's crazy.
A little bit of his speed, he's still extremely fast. Canelo is very explosive. I just talked to one of his sparring partners yesterday, Dusty Harrison, 29-0, 16 knockouts. He's with Rock Nation. And Dusty told me when Khan feels his power, he won't be able to take it. So we'll see.
We're going to... Hey, listen, that's why they fight. That's why they fight. I'm very excited to see that fight.
Yeah, and I don't ever think that he's going to get into the middle of the ring with him and slug. I think he's too smart for that. Khan, so I think that he's going to box.
Who's training Amir Khan now, Ellie? Do you know?
Virgil Hunter, the trainer.
Oh, Virgil's training. Oh, wow. Virgil Hunter's training him. I didn't know that. That should be interesting.
That would be interesting. And the only thing that this fight, I would have liked Amir's chances better. He's been off for 10 months. So if he took a tune-up before, I think the fight would have been, but it is what it is. He's fighting. 10 months off in boxing is a long time.
Yeah.
So we have to see. And then with the upper weight, it's the first time he's fighting with this new weight class. We have to see how does his body react in the stretch, round 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you gas out? I mean, Big O, you're a former athlete. I'm sure your brother participated in athletic. you step on the baseball field or the basketball court after not playing for a while.
Let me tell you something. Forget about it. You step on the baseball field after not playing for 10 months, you might as well be stepping on a little league field. Because if a pitcher's been playing every day, you got problems on your hands. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah, but Amir Khan's a former Olympic silver medalist from age 17. He's been a star. He knows what he's doing. And sometimes your adrenaline, when Victor Ortiz fought Andre Berto, nothing would stop him that night, whether he got dropped. If Amir has one of those fights, and with the combination, if Canelo takes Amir Khan lightly, if he thinks like it's an easy
if he's
catch.
looking forward to Triple G, then there's gonna be I'm with you, Ellie.
Well, I think another thing that's going to help Canelo out is that because he just fought Cotto, so that speed factor will help him out. Get him a little tuned up to fight Khan.
Yeah, and he's in practice.
And not only that, but he's improving from fight to fight. Canelo is. Remember, he fought Floyd at 21.
Yeah.
22.
No. One of the best things, one of the smartest moves Floyd's ever made, in my opinion, was to catch that kid early because he still got the name value of him being undefeated and yada, yada, and yada, yada. But you could see as soon as they stepped in the ring that he wasn't ready. His ring savvy, he wasn't anywhere near ready for that fight. Not anywhere near. Now, you tell me this, moving on. How do you feel about the upcoming fight, the most pressing upcoming fight with Triple G and Wade? Triple G is a friend of the OZone. We're going to go down there and watch him work out later this week. And I can't wait to see this fight, actually.
I actually saw you at the last Triple G fight.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're going to see me at this one, too.
Triple G, he's one of the best fighters in the world. Nicest person you will meet.
He is.
Big puncher, another Olympic winner. People with this Olympic pedigree, they're just boxers. People don't give him enough credit.
Right. Wow, that's a great point.
Now, people always think he's just talking. No, he knows how to box. And he's very, very cool, calm, and collective. I don't think I've seen him lose many rounds in his whole professional career. It's very hard not to lose a round. Like you say that about Floyd and Ward.
Yeah.
They barely lose rounds. Wade is talented, skinny, strong, ranked 7th in the IBF. I think he goes 5-6 rounds, but Triple G will stop him. The power is something else. It kind of sucks for Triple G that there's no one at 160 right now. He's collecting all the belts, and you have to give him credit. But sometimes in boxing, you're only as good as your opposition. He needs a major name.
He needs a
to
major
establish
name.
himself.
I would love to see. I would love and hate to see a almost like a catchweight fight of Triple G and Andre Ward. I would really like to see that. I know Andre Ward is looking at going up to fight the Crusher. And he did the right thing by taking his tune-up fights because, he had all of his problems of getting in and out of the ring over the past couple years. Yep. But that's a fight that I would love to see at closer to, say, 165, 160, maybe 168. I know he's moving up. But it seems like the fight that fans and the industry want to make, given the idea that both of them win, is this Canelo Triple G fight, which is a tough fight for Canelo. I really don't see how Canelo wins that fight, but that's just my opinion. Last thing I want to cover with you is some of the even smaller guys. I know I see you on ES News spending a lot of time with Mikey Garcia. What's going on with Mikey right now?
Okay, Mikey, 34-0, 28 knockouts, one of the best fighters in the world, super talented. He's been on the shelf for 2 years in a legal dispute with his former promoter. After 2 years, they just released him, and now he's free. So he's getting every phone call from every promoter, from every manager, from every person on the planet. Everybody wants to work with him. Mikey's a very, very mature. I think he's 26 or 27. He's young, but he went to the police academy. He graduated at younger, when he was 19. Very smart person, very talented boxer. He sparred Pacquiao when he was 19 and did great. He sparred Maidana before the Mayweather-Maidana 2 fight, and 2 weeks into camp, he cracked Maidana's rib. For the rest of the camp, no one was allowed to hit Maidana in the body. He actually dropped him. I was at the gym that day. And he back then, Mikey was fighting at 126.
I remember you told me that. He's got crazy power for his spies. Like crazy power,
very patient. And he's just one of those comments that really, they say, like the Haley's comment, once in 75 years. And he's Hispanic, Latino, speaks Spanish, speaks English.
Sounds like a superstar in the making as he moves up in rank, especially with the depth of the welterweight division. If he continues to move up to get towards that 140, 147 mark.
Yeah, and in the amateurs, he did fight Terrence Crawford. He told me it was a close fight, but Terrence Crawford won. But at least he's been at that level for a very long time. And I spent a lot of time. He bought an 11-acre home this week, and I went to visit him at the new property.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, no, he's cool. So he was telling me that the 2 years was actually good because now he misses boxing. Now he's hungry.
Right.
But going through the motions, he was just going through the motions. He wasn't loving it. Now he's excited to get back in and make a statement. So whoever he signs with eventually, Floyd has been calling, hey, Mikey, call me, and everybody wants him on their team. But whoever he signs with is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, it's going to be a big deal because he's a great fighter.
He's a great fighter and a great person.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Ellie. This is Terry. Do you think that Floyd's going to come back?
Yes.
I heard that they're working on Manny and Floyd too.
They mentioned it.
I mentioned it. I wonder. It all seems pretty convenient, but then again, so does letting Kobe Bryant score 60 points in his way out. So what can you do?
Yeah, and then Utah Jazz who lighting it up all the games. Like,
They just beat him by 48. 48.
Yeah.
And now everybody's letting this guy just run amok on him.
I'm surprised they didn't let him score 100 and just hand him the ball out of the way.
Give him to Will Chamberlain.
Look, I like Kobe, but come on. Like, the Jazz is like, okay,
Thank you.
I get it. Everybody likes a nice fairy tale and the soap opera, and now they can sell the jerseys and the DVDs, and
Right.
he left with 60. It's almost like a fake All-Star game. I don't want to say that.
When you hear this podcast, you're going to hear me say that right before you come on. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what it was like. It was like watching a celebrity game.
Yeah. Yeah, a celebrity game with a celebrity in the crowd. I was waiting like for Justin Bieber to get on the court and and honestly, Kobe deserves better. But it's kind of like the whole year was like so bad. This is the worst Lakers season, and
Ellie, you're echoing everything that I just said. The Lakers organization has been reduced and minimized to a circus of individualism that doesn't promote good basketball or good team sports. And I'm really interested to see where the organization goes. I mean, I don't think the Lakers are going to have a hard time finding the stud free agents to come out now that Kobe's gone. But at the same time, they're going to have to reestablish this culture of winning because they haven't been winning. I think the Lakers have collectively won, 60 games over 4 seasons?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you something funny. One of the players from the Kings, I'm close to some of the players, so they got me tickets to one of the Laker games when they were here this year. So I came down. I was actually really disappointed because when the Kings played the Lakers at Staples, Kobe's teammates refused to pass him the ball. And, like, he was on the court, but I was like, hey, I came to see Kobe's last game. I didn't, so I was laughing.
But he, there was a period of time there where he was, brutal. Like, it was like I really feel like I would have, not that my 2 cents matters, but I would have had more respect if he would have retired 2 years ago after that last, if he would have retired 2 years ago after that last injury, because since he came back, it's good for business, but.
And I was just going to say he has 70 million reasons and more because after the last game, now everyone loves him. Look, I've been around Kobe since he was 17.
Come on. Now everybody, you're going to see, this is exactly what we were talking about, is how winning.
Guys are right. It just validates. Look, I've been around since 17. I've always been cool with him. He's always been super nice to me where there were times where security at Staples Center could be asshole. I don't know if you could curse on this.
Yeah, you feel free.
They could be like really, for no logic, like no common sense. I'm interviewing Kobe and all of a sudden 5 security red coats jump in front of me to block. He would physically lift me over security so we could finish the interview. And I always appreciate him like looking out for me because I'm a nobody. Come on, man. I'm on YouTube. It's not like I'm on CNN or Fox News or some major network. So I get him. He's always been super cool. But I would see all these fake people that for years would just trash him, anything negative. And now, he's the greatest.
Now he's the greatest.
Right.
Oh, are you crazy? People love him.
Forget
and I can't believe how much the league is giving him hugs. It's just like it's watching a Hallmark card. It's like watching a Lifetime movie. I can't even believe it.
That last game needs an asterisk.
I'm sorry, Terry, go ahead.
That last game needs an asterisk.
It's just part of the soap opera. They should have brought violins and tell them to
wine and cheese.
Yeah, it was too much, but it was
over the top, dude.
Year like that.
Whole year. Well, Ellie, this is all I got to say to you.
You're awesome.
Reporting.
Look, man, really, really, really happy that you called in. We're going to check back in with you after the big fight next week. I do believe next Saturday is Wade and Triple G. And we'll check back in with you. You are a friend of the OZone, always welcome, and I always appreciate the love you show out and about. Ladies and gentlemen, ES News anchor, editor, chief at Secback.
Thank you so much. And
Later,
we'll talk to you guys
dude.
soon. Later.
Hey. Ellie Secback, folks. Very solid.
Great.
Very solid. You know what else is solid? Gorilla Life. It's life in a bottle. 3 ingredients: chlorophyll, water, and love. That's how it goes. And you know what? This gives you life. You got to try it. Go to GorillaLife.com. Life in a bottle. You know, the gorilla is, in real life, the gorilla, I do believe, is an herbivore. And the gorillas is like, who's stronger than the gorilla?
Right. He can rip you apart.
Limb from limb.
Yeah, literally.
He take a muscle-bound man and put his face in the sand.
By the way, did you see the shot of that monkey that climbed up the pole?
No.
Oh, and lashed out at the guy who was trying to save him? Oh, you need to look that up. It's unbelievable. The dude
Really?
He was trying to rip somebody's face off.
Come on. Rip your face
Like,
off.
come on. So shove it down your throat.
Take a dump in your mouth. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, that's an impersonation of a man that we once knew, R.I.P. to Wayne.
The Waniac.
Also known as the Waniac. Yeah, come on. Anyways, so we got some more stuff to cover here. Very interested to see what's going on in the NBA because the playoffs started today. And the Indiana Pacers pulled off an upset.
Can you believe that?
Yes, I can. And, they were
Toronto's
looking
not
tired. And Toronto, every year they win all these games. And then it's just all of a sudden in the April when the postseason starts, they become nice Canadians. And they give you rollover minutes, eh? And they eat poutine and they bring out hockey sticks.
That poutine will stop you from being able to do anything.
I guess so. I don't know what's going on, but actually the Pacers do match up well with them. The Pacers match up well with them. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers pull off the shocker, which then in turn will shake up the bracket for sure. Especially in the East. I actually think the East is going to be a little bit stiffer. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for Cleveland. What do you think?
It should be. I don't think there's no real threat over there. I mean,
really, you think? I think Miami's real threat to Cleveland. Honest.
Toronto was more of a threat than Miami.
Really, I think Miami and Boston are real threats to Cleveland. Let's just go over the series as they sit. We have at this point the Pacers who won this game today, who were up 1-0. They took it to him, and Paul George put up 33. Paul George really, really balled, and he looks like the Paul George pre-leg break.
He's unstoppable when he wins on his game, But I don't know if he's going to be able to last through the whole.
I don't either.
Yeah, his legs.
They looked as a team. They looked fatigued coming into the playoffs.
Right, and now the lights came on. They performed. You can't say anything about that.
Yeah, you can just say Toronto's looking forward to some good weather, so they're not worried about going deep into the playoffs, I guess. And as expected, the Golden State Warriors are beating the shit out of the Houston Rockets.
I think Houston has still won.
I don't. Houston has no heart. I'm
no
so
heart,
disappointed in Houston.
Yeah, but
they have no heart. James Harden is overrated,
in
my opinion. Not that he's not great. I mean, his numbers, he's a situation where, in my opinion, the numbers do lie. Yeah. He's averaging something like 29, 7, and 3 or something like that. And yet it's like Eric Karris's 25 or 30 home runs for the Dodgers in the 90s. It was worthless. It means nothing.
Got them all in Colorado.
They come in games where they got them all in Colorado. And they come in games where it's not necessarily, the games aren't necessarily close, in my opinion. But they don't care, man. They want to get to the strip club and the barbecue joint in Houston. They're looking for somebody to point the finger at. They fired Kevin McHale for no good reason. It's not Kevin McHale's fault that you have a whole bunch of dudes who don't take pride in their game. They have the tools to win. This is what's most upsetting about the Houston Rockets.
Well, I think they did Kevin McHale a favor because
they did, because he's a winner.
Yeah, he's a winner, and you bring him down. Why do you want to bring Kevin McHale down?
You can't bring Kevin McHale down. He played with the Chief.
Come on.
He played with Robert Parrish.
Bird.
Come on, man.
And now you want to have him over there playing games with...
You want to have him playing grab ass with a bunch of guys who don't even care whether or not they get blown out,
smiling
when they get blown out and all that stuff.
Money.
They said, what is too much? I mean, the thing is like you wish there was some financial incentivization, or maybe some way to make society more equal or something, so that there was some sort of incentive, because it comes up. This is about pride in your game, and these guys. If you're willing to get blown out and it not be a problem, you don't have pride in your game. And part of the reason you don't have pride in your game is because you just don't care, because you can go and post up afterwards. You really want to get this series over with, so you can fly your chicks out to Miami and have a good time, or go out to the islands on your private jet, or whatever it is that you do.
It's just too much of not caring.
That's what I feel like. You have
self-respect.
That's what it is. You have to care about your work, no matter what your work is. And I don't know, that they do enough. And they're lavish with accolades and financially accoladed, whether or not they win. That's the part that's a trip to me.
So you think that they should have incentive-laden contracts all about, maybe how much you perform more performance oriented?
I don't know. I don't know what they can do, but I know that guys just don't care enough, and the corporations don't seem to care about the winners. You know, they want the popular guys, and it comes back to this individualism that's running rampant in sports and running rampant in society, because you have a guy like James Harden who gets a $200 million deal from Adidas and gets caught out and about wearing Nikes.
Right.
What?
Let's see.
Do you understand how committed I would be to wearing Adidas? I would everything Adidas. I wouldn't even have anybody that I'm hanging out with wearing Nikes. Like I would decline hanging out with Michael Jordan because he's wearing Jordans. Like, hey man, I don't know about that. So I don't know. But we talk about the rest of the series. I mean, I see this Golden State series going 4-0. They're, I mean, this is ugly.
So you don't think they're going to get a game?
I don't even think they're going to get a game, T. I don't think they're going to get a game. The other games disgusting. We got today, we got Boston Celtics versus Atlanta. And I think Boston's actually going to pull the series out. I don't think you want to see Boston right now.
Sleeper cells.
Yep. Those kids actually do care about their game.
You can tell.
And they
serious defense.
They're willing to get in fights.
Yeah, they're willing to do whatever, dive for loose balls or whatever. You look at a guy like James Harden right now. Not to knock James Harden or anything like bashing, but I don't think he's going to be too much diving for a loose ball. You think so?
What? Not unless it's leading him to the free throw line, because realistically he plays no defense. And I got love for James Harden. I see him and give him love and, all the time. But he's not going to play any defense, and I don't blame him because it's not demanded of him. One thing I love about James Harden's game is that he's committed to getting to the rack.
Yeah.
Which then in turn
opens up that jumper.
Opens up the jumper, but it opens up play for Dwight Howard, even though Dwight Howard doesn't even want to play anymore.
Yeah.
And then we got the Dallas Mavericks going up against OKC. I think OKC is going to handle Dallas in this series, but you know what? Dirk and the boys, they always have heart, so I think they're going to steal a game or two, but I think OKC has that. The rest of the series rollout is such. We got the Cavs versus Detroit, which I think is a total waste to even talk about. We got Charlotte versus Miami, which is a series I wish wasn't the first round matchup, because Charlotte seemed like they gelled late in the season, and I don't think you necessarily want to see them right now.
They had a lot of injuries. Al Jefferson was hurt for a long time.
And now you got him, Kimba. You get them boys playing well. And I actually
Frank
really,
the Tank.
Yeah, and I actually really like the Miami Heat, though, not just because I am an endorser of the city of Miami. What up, Dade County? But I really think that you got that kid Hassan Whiteside is legit. I don't know how much you guys watching, but that kid is a classic big man. He's got great footwork. He's dominant. And then they got the role players. They picked up guys that were key. Picking up Joe Johnson was good because you're not asking Joe Johnson to be a superstar. You still got Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne Wade is nice.
Right. But if Kemba Walker plays it the right way, you can get Hassan Whiteside out of the game by just attacking him, because for some reason, big men just don't understand that they don't have to jump like that. And
well, I don't know. You do need to jump to protect the rim, but at the same time,
you
don't have to foul.
Yeah.
There's a difference between jumping and fouling. You need to jump straight up. And really, in my opinion, what that has to do with is how they call the games. Because ultimately, the big man gets no love. He can jump straight up, and if little Kemba Walker jumps into him and falls down onto the brick wall, it looks like that something violent happened, when really the game just went the way that the game was supposed to go.
Yeah. Soft nowadays.
Very, very soft. Charlie Lee Brandt in the league.
Soft in a way.
Soft in a way. Then we got Memphis versus San Antonio. Memphis is all beat up.
Why are they playing that game?
That game, they got to play 7 of them. Hopefully, they only play 4. And then we got to honestly, I am an LA Clippers fan, and I think the Clippers could be in trouble, because even though they beat the crap out of Portland during the season, something about Portland makes me nervous, man. I don't know what it is. And I don't know. You never know which Clippers team is going to show up, which really bothers me. But
that's a problem.
Clippers versus Portland, and I'm hoping that the Clippers get it together.
Portland's real.
You think?
Oh, yeah, I think they're real. They're not going to go all the way, of course, but they're real.
You think they're real enough to steal a couple games? Or you think they're real enough to take the series?
I think anybody can beat the Clippers in a short series.
Nice. Well, you know what? I'm going to go out and grab 4 guys since you feel that way. No, but it's not a short series. It's a 7-game series, and this is part of the problem with the NBA.
It's true.
Is that every round is a 7-game series, in which point the underdog really doesn't have much of a chance.
Are they going to fix that?
I'm not in conversations with Commissioner Silver, but I don't think that they're fixing it as of right now.
I heard that they had, there was rumors about them taking it back to 5.
I've heard none of those rumors. No, but I would like that. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I'd like that to be the case. I would definitely like that to be the case. It's the underdog has a chance in 5 that he doesn't have in 7. He just the better team's going to win in 7 games. This is one of the things that's so exciting about the Super Bowl, because it's one game. What else is exciting is D1 Bound. D1 Bound, one nation under a groove that's trying to help kids stay focused to achieve their goals and get scholarships. Go to d1bound.com and check out what they have to offer, especially if you're interested in college recruiting, highlight reels. It's amazing the business has been made out of recruitment for sports and, that whole song and dance. It's just amazing. I remember back in the day, you would just try to get your dad out to get some videotape footage that you then would send some grainy footage to a coach, and then you could get a scholarship. Now it's a multi-billion-dollar business now.
Right. If nothing else, you would think about just reminiscing over the video footage.
Now you could just run it back and be like,
wow, man. Remember that?
Yeah, I balled. I remember. Of course I remember. So that takes us into our favorite. Let's talk a little baseball.
Ooh.
Let's talk a little baseball. T-Bone Icons Aroni. What do you think about the baseball season that is out and about?
Right now, it's unbelievable. You got a lot of kids that are actually performing, doing well, that the sleeper cells.
Name some of the kids. Name these sleeper cells of which you speak.
Well, Randall Grickick. Did I pronounce it right? Grickick?
I don't know, but talk about it.
Oh, yeah. For St. Louis, that kid, they projected him to hit 30 bombs, but he started off slow, and now he's actually starting to wake up. And then you got a guy like Kevin Pillar, who's at the top of Toronto's lineup, that's starting off so slow that they might drop him back down in the lineup. But if he comes back up to the top, he's going to be a beast. Sometimes you need to be sent down to come back up. And Kevin Pillar seems to be one of those candidates. And Michael Conforto, they finally moved him to the 3-hole, and he performed.
Speaking of guys that went down to come up, Conforto, they were flirting around with him in the 7 and 8 hole. Now they got him in the 3 hole. I think that's going to help that team a lot.
Yeah, and they were talking about platooning him at one time, and I think that might be off the table.
It should be off the table.
You got Kiki Hernandez also.
Oh, Kiki Hernandez is a stud. We talked to Kiki at the game.
Yeah.
Kiki's a stud. I always felt like Kiki just needed day-to-day burn. And he just, nobody ever let him feel the burn.
Yeah, and he's
Play Kiki Hernandez. I want socialism for Kiki. Kiki needs equal pay for equal work. That's what Kiki needs. Sorry. Bernie, get out of here, man. We're talking sports.
Yeah, but Kiki, no. The kid is a stud, and he needs to get more playing time. And they were platooning him. But after last night, I don't know if, 2 bombs, that's real. That's not a fluke.
Against Bumgarner, right?
Yeah.
He touched Bumgarner for
first pitch of the game.
Come on, man. Kiki.
Yeah.
And what else is over is the 0-win teams in Major League Baseball now, because the Twins got them a win, and the who else was that was winless? That was
Braves?
Corliss Williamson. Yeah, winless was the Braves.
Yeah.
And they got a win, and let's see if that gets them out of the gate. It's very, very interesting what's going on in baseball, in my opinion, because you have teams. The Cubs are playing well. I mean, I'm still mind blown that the Cubs were a favorite to win the World Series ever, but they're playing well and they got a lot of kids. But there's a lot of parity in the league this year.
Right, and I think that the Rockies are sneaking up on a couple of teams because even away from Coors Field, they're actually performing. They're keeping the scores low. Today was, I don't know the final score, but early on it was like
6-2.
Oh,
didn't keep it low.
Yeah, they couldn't keep it
and
low.
herein lies the problem. Colorado never wants to invest in any pitching. They want to invest in a can of whoop ass. So you got guys like Nolan Arenado who can hit 50 bombs, and Cargo and Trevor Story and all these guys. But then you're wondering what happened, because if they don't outslug you, they don't win. Plain and simple.
Right, but that was the kid went 7 innings today, Bergman, and he had held him down to 2 runs.
Talk to us about how Trevor Story has taken Jose Reyes' job.
Well, basically, Jose Reyes had all those legal problems, and why would you want to bring him back? He said he didn't want to be there in the first place. So, Trevor Story has actually come up and performed. Although he strikes out a lot, he doesn't make a lot of contact. He'll make the adjustments. But in the minor leagues, he had a lot of bombs, and he struck out, so you knew what you were getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
well, Mike Trout strikes out a lot, and he hits a lot of bombs and does a lot of good stuff. It's very acceptable nowadays in Major League Baseball to strike out, even as long as you hit, as long as your slugging percentage is up.
Right. But Trevor Story, he seems to be the real deal. He has great defense. You know, he looks a lot like Tulowitzki. I think he patterned his game after him.
And what do you think about your other sleeper cell you've been high on all offseason?
Which one is this?
Eugenio Suarez.
Oh, Eugenio. He's struggling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're figuring him out. But, you know, all these kids, they figure you out. They write a little book on you, and you have to make the adjustments. If you don't make the adjustments, then you end up falling down in the lineup. You go from the 2 spot to the 8 or 9 spot, and nobody wants to be in that spot.
I also like the fact that the Mets moved, jumping back to the Mets moved Travis d'Arnaud up. I think Travis d'Arnaud is a kid that he just needs to play and, you know, be fully healthy and play. Travis d'Arnaud is legit, man. And having him in the right part of the lineup is a very good idea. You know, today he's back in the 8 hole, but I think that he'll do better if they keep flirting him in the top half of the lineup.
Yeah, well, they had to do some kind of adjustment. They had to make some kind of adjustments because they were one of the worst teams. They had one of the worst offenses in baseball. So you have to do something, and you can't have that kind of payroll and, you know, nothing. You paid Cespedes, and Cespedes actually does not perform. Although he hit a bomb yesterday, boy. Woo, dead center in Cleveland.
It's hard to say he doesn't perform. I mean, this is a small sample size, and if you look at what he did after the All-Star game last year, everybody in New York would disagree with you.
But what about the post?
It'll be interested to see what happens this year.
Yeah, he's not performing so far.
Yeah, well, you know, but you can't jump on him and give a pass to a guy like Lucas Duda, who
well, Lucas Duda never performs. He's inconsistent.
This is what I'm saying. You can't give him. I can't give these guys a pass and just pick on one guy. I think,
you know what? You can, though, because that's why they paid him the big bucks.
Lucas Duda is not making minimum wage.
But Lucas Duda is not making anywhere in the ballpark of a Cespedes.
I don't know what his numbers are, but
I'm pretty sure he's probably making maybe 5.
If you're batting in the 4 hole, you got to produce. I don't care who you are.
Well, Lucas Duda just went to the 4 hole, actually.
Last year, he was in the 4 hole, dude. I had him on my fantasy squad. So I don't want to hear that.
He was in 4 or 5. He wasn't.
I don't care. If I need my 4 and my 5
well,
to
they got David Wright in the 3 hole, and David Wright is sticking the joint up.
Well, but David Wright now has been moved to 2. I agree.
Yeah.
But herein lies the problem. They got to get their lineup together and figure out, you know, they got to figure some stuff out. Now, in my opinion, who has figured some stuff out is the Boston Red Sox. And what we were talking about
the
before.
Baltimore Orioles.
And the Baltimore Orioles, too. But I'm telling you, man, them Red Sox, wow. The Red Sox, they've already played the Blue Jays about 100 times for some reason. And they find ways to win, which are very impressive to me.
Yeah,
they put up crooked numbers in innings. Oftentimes, you know, they don't hit you with 1 here, 1 there.
Yeah,
they explode.
Yeah, the Red Sox are nice, but again, they're short on pitching, really short on pitching.
Yeah, because you can't count on Clay Buchholz.
Yeah, and Baltimore, I think that Baltimore, everybody's high on Toronto Blue Jays lineup, but I think that Baltimore has the best lineup in baseball.
Yeah, they can bang with anybody.
I mean, Jumbo Trumbo, you got Scope, you have, and they snuck in your boy Pedro Alvarez.
I saw that.
Oh my goodness,
I saw that.
Are you crazy?
And you're giving Pedro Alvarez the right to just free swing. He can just and he's playing
him at the bottom
in that Cracker Jack box over there for one. But Pedro Alvarez can hit him out of Yellowstone. It doesn't matter. But then you got Chris Davis. You got Adam Jones, who's one of the best all-around players in all of baseball.
And Manny Machado.
Who's one of the best all-around players in all of baseball.
Exactly. So, man, come on.
Who's their leadoff hitter?
You know what? They had a kid. They had a kid that they brought up, actually, and I forgot the kid's name. Let's pull him up.
Yeah, because Baltimore's been putting in work, man. These guys, I don't know. And nobody necessarily can say, "Oh yeah, I called it," but you could look at their lineup and say, "Wow, they're serious." Ricard, this is the guy that you're talking about.
Yeah,
he's batting .317.
Yeah,
looking good out there. This is a nice lineup. Ricard, Machado, Manny Machado's your 2 hitter. Are you crazy?
Come on, dude.
I had the luxury of hanging out with Manny Machado in the offseason, and I personally told him that he was going to be the beneficiary of them paying Mike Trout $300, $400, $500 million on his next deal, because Manny Machado will prove to be just as good as anybody in the league. And when it's time for him to get paid, they're going to have to back up the Brinks truck.
Right.
Because his check is going to be heavy. Anyways, Manny Machado, Andrew Jones, Chris Davis, Mark Trumbo, J.J. Hardy, Jonathan Scope, Nolan Reimold, huh?
Yeah,
Nolan Reimold and Caleb Joseph. This is a serious lineup.
And Matt Wieters is normally the bat. You know.
And Matt Wieters can swing it, but he's always hurt.
Yeah. Well, they're easing him back in. You know, he had that elbow problem.
Gotta ease him back in with the elbow. Yeah. The elbow gets tight on you.
Oh, forget about it.
Especially when it rains.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, what do you think about that kid Velasquez who had that outrageously dominant game out in Philly?
I'm not trying to knock the Velasquez kid, and he had a devastating game before that, but it was, again, against 2 of the worst offenses in baseball. Against the Padres, but the Padres have just set a record for being shut out the most times in MLB history. What, 5 times already?
Hey, well, at least they set a record. What can you do?
They sound like a mother over there.
You got to look at the bright side. This is all I'm saying.
Right.
Now, I want to talk about something pretty quickly here. I want to talk about what, in my opinion, something very near and dear to me, which is I have a theory that Major League Baseball doesn't need to cut any games. A lot of people talk about cutting games, and really the only people that talk about the Major League Baseball schedule being too long are people who aren't really baseball fans.
Right.
Why don't they start the season in the South and on the West Coast instead of playing games
We've been talking
in
about that for years.
32-degree weather or just getting them rained out? I lost my fantasy games
And I won one.
because of rainouts. Because I had two guys that were supposed to pitch on Sunday that got rained out.
New York?
Yeah,
In Baltimore?
Tanaka got rained out, and I think Jimenez or what. I had two guys. I need to look at my squad, but I had two guys get rained out, and I'm not talking about. Oh yeah, you might have won, you might have lost. No, I lost because I needed
2 points
I needed 3 points to win the game.
Yeah, I don't understand with the scheduling why they do that. That makes no sense.
Think about that. If the league started in April, just for the first 2 or 3 weeks, not even the whole month, just till it starts getting warm in other cities. You're talking about California itself has 5 teams.
Yeah.
We got the A's, the Giants, the Angels, the Dodgers, and the Padres. So that's 10 games right there.
Right.
That's 10 games, plus the Arizona Diamondbacks who play in a dome. So that's 11 games there. Texas, I think you can count on because the down in Arlington and in Houston is a dome, I do believe. So now you're talking about that's 13 games, and then throw in Tampa and Miami, or you could even go to Milwaukee if you want to because they got a dome. Just throw in another like Toronto.
And you got the whole schedule.
Now you got the whole league playing, and they're actually playing all their games. Major League Baseball.
It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to the players. I mean, I'm sure the players would like to play, especially a lot
to get a rhythm.
Yeah, they're from Latin America, and the cold weather really affects their game.
It affects everybody's game. I don't care where you're from because baseball is not designed as an all-weather sport.
Yeah, it's a warm-weather sport.
It's a warm-weather sport. So it's not really designed to be, all the time I'm out there. I'm watching guys, and then you see a guy, of course, come up with the famous pulled oblique. Or the strained oblique or the strained hammy, all of this stuff, man, trying to explode in the 38-degree weather, man. That's for football.
Yeah,
that's for soccer. That's for other sports. You can't really do that in baseball.
You see these guys,
and instead of but instead of babying a guy, Randy Piper, for making him throw 100 pitches, how about you let him play in the warm weather and see what that does for him?
Right, you got these guys bundled up like polar bears. Come on, man.
Looks like that's the way baseball is supposed to be played. That's my rant for the day. Just really bothers me. I mean, partially because of being a baseball player and seeing how the game, how the cold can affect your game, but also because I lost my fantasy team because of it. I lost my game, man.
The most important thing.
Come on, dude. At the end of the day, this seriously, when you play early, when you lose those games early, they come back to bite you.
Yeah, but if you're an actual gambler, you know to stay away from some of those games too.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're hardcore, because anything can happen. It's like betting on a mutter in racing, horse racing.
Yeah. You see your boy Ryan Braun's getting it back together.
Yeah, he hit 2 monster bombs. 460, the second longest one.
He hit the mash.
Yeah.
He hit a monster mash.
Hopefully, with his back injury, he'll bounce back and be the player that I don't think that he's going to steal any bags. I think
he's lost the 5-tool.
Yeah.
But you know what? Another player who you spoke about that was a monster that you thought was going to end up having a nice year right now, and he's on pace to have a monster season, is Gene Segura.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's a change of scenery. They instill confidence in this kid, and he's not a 5-tool player, but we can give him like 3.5, 4.
I'm 3.5, 4, and I'm here to tell you, I was ready to drop. I have a confession to make, everybody out there in Ozone Land. I missed my fantasy draft, and my team I thought was
Boo-Boo.
was Stinky Boo Boo.
Yogi Boo Boo.
Ew. Hey yo Yogi. Hey yo Boo Boo. You know what? And I got Carlos Beltran on my team, who, by the way, is balling.
Yeah, unfortunately against me now.
That's in one of my leagues. I got him in my other league.
Wow, you believed. You're a believer.
But I am a believer. The computer believed for me. Today he had 2 doubles and a bomb.
Right.
2 ribeyes, too.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a very, very fun and enjoyable time on the Ozone. You can find me at Omar Miller on Twitter, at Omar Benson Miller on Instagram, and you can find us at Ozone Podcast on Twitter. We have we're coming at you nowadays. At Icons is my brother's address on all platforms.
Terry Miller at Icons.
EYECONZ. I'll leave you with a quote from Nelson Mandela on this one. Pretty insightful here. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are more hills to climb. Many more hills to climb. That's fantastic. It's really, it's insightful. Well, folks, thanks for riding with us. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy your sports. Ozone. Peace.